Do you aim your third shot drops? Oftentimes, the answer is no, and we should fix that. Today, I'm going to talk about where I aim my third shot drops and why. And maybe this will give you a guide to figure out where you should be aiming yours. Let's start from the right side. I have 3 targets set up. The green one is directly in front of me, so down the line. The blue one is in the middle, and the third one is the yellow one, and it's cross court for me since I'm on the right side. Let's start with topspin drops. If I'm hitting a topspin drop from the right side, whether I'm hitting a forehand or running around and hitting a backhand, my favorite spot to go to is cross court. The reason for that is because the net's slower on the cross court. I can aim it a little deeper, and the ball's most likely going to drop prior to the person coming in, especially if the person on the right side is the one that returned. So I'm going to demo a couple of those. I'm not going super high. I want the ball to obviously go over the net, and I want it to drop about on the kitchen line, just like my target's placed. A little bit too high, a little bit too deep. Same thing. Clearly, this is not my best shot. Let's try one more time. I like that one the best. Pretty close to the target, not that high. My opponent would most likely have to hit that ball from below the net or maybe even to let it bounce. Now, why am I aiming more towards the middle of that side rather than super wide? Giving people angles gets you in trouble a lot of times. If I open up the court too much, my partner has to scoot over and cover their line. If I go way too wide, they can even ernie. Though it's difficult on a cross-court shot, it is a possibility. And if I go too far to the middle, their partner can come and help them out. So right about where they're running to, in between their legs, is where my target is for the cross. For the middle, so moving on, I'm aiming a little shorter, and there's a reason for that. If I hit the middle ball too deep, the person on the left side is going to scoot over and take that out of the air. So I really want to make this ball bounce. That's not necessarily the case on the cross-court drop. It's okay if it doesn't bounce. But this middle one, I want to make it bounce. Go ahead. Made it bounce way too deep, I would have gotten killed. That's a little bit better, even though it's still a little deep. Try one more time. That's it right there. Perfect. I might have even hit the target. That might have been the best topspin drop I've ever hit. All right, so that's number 2. Now number 3 on topspin still. It's hard, personally for me, to hit a topspin drop down the line. The net's higher, your opponent has a shorter distance to run to, and it's usually a high backhand here. That could potentially cause trouble. If I go too wide, it's very easy to ernie. So that's why, once again, that target's not too far over. It's about in the middle of their box. So I'm aiming, once again, in between their feet and trying to make the ball bounce, but it's not a necessity, like in the middle. I want them to hit the ball from low to high. So that's where I'm aiming. Way too deep. Here we go. That's a little better. Honestly, maybe a little too short. Missing the net is even worse than high or short, okay? Let's try one last time. High, but it did bounce. That might have done the trick. Awesome. That's it for topspin. I'm going to quickly cover slice, and then I'll show a couple on the left side as well. For slice, personally, I like to hit slice when I'm running in so that I can take it early. That is not the case for everyone. A lot of people will say the opposite. They'll say they prefer hitting topspin. But on the cross-court drop, I actually do like to go a little shorter with the slice because I want to cause them to hit up on it. Now, be careful with that wide angle. Again, you don't want to give them a ton of angle to work with so that they can burn you either short cross or behind your partner. So here's an example. Not bad. Maybe a little bit too wide. Go ahead. That's it right there. Ooh, I might have hit the target. Pretty close. That was it right there. As you can see, I'm using all my weight going forward and I would have been already at the kitchen line. Middle one, and give me a back in here just to vary. I'm still going shorter. That's it. Ooh, the ball stopped. I hit the target. All right, I like that one a lot. That is probably my favorite one. I love to go down that middle. I want the person to have to hit up. If it's sliced, the ball's even lower, and the ball's typically slower too. So they have to generate that pace. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. And lastly, for me, the slice down the line is easier than the topspin. That might not be the case for everyone, but be careful with hitting the ball high here. It's gotta be low and it's gotta be short. So right on top of the kitchen line is where we're aiming for. That's it right there. Pretty simple movement. I'll give you one more. I had to shank it. It had to happen. We'll do one last one. Perfect. That one was a little wide. They could have potentially earned, so just keep that in mind. Now, all these rules that I said from the right side apply to the left as well. Keep in mind that typically, the person here has a forehand in the middle, considering that most people are right-handed. The person from here is likely taking that middle ball too. From the middle, I can go inside out to the green target. I can go kind of down the line since I'm hitting from the middle to that blue target, or I can go inside in to the yellow target. You want to keep in mind that no matter what side or what shot you're hitting, you typically want to stick to this a little deeper on the sides, a little shorter in the middle. Be careful with not opening too many angles, and be careful to going to people's favorite shots. Obviously, priority needs to be keeping the ball low and keeping the ball short for drops. But hitting it too short could potentially be a problem. So that's what I'll quickly demo here. You don't want to hit the ball too high and too short. Go ahead. Doesn't matter which side. That was almost exactly what I was looking for. Try again. All right, one more try for me. I'm 0 for 2. Okay. In theory, that was a good drop. That ball landed inside of the kitchen, but it is way too short and way too high. It's going to give my opponents the possibility to be aggressive. I'm going to show one more bad example. I'm going to hit, oh, that was pretty close, Trevor. Here we go, one more. Way too high, even deeper. They could have taken that as an overhead. So just be careful with those deeper targets down the line. Be careful with those shorter targets in the middle. But that's really where the place you're aiming your shots. If you're not already aiming your drops, you've got a problem. You need to fix it right now. If this is something that you haven't noticed, maybe pay attention to this moving forward and it'll up your game immediately. Now that you've seen how I do this, hopefully you can figure out for yourself if this method works for you or if you want to have different rules. But even if they're different, there should still be rules. Make sure you know where you're aiming prior to hitting the ball, and it's going to make you much more efficient in your third shots.